Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Ann Alvarez, parent coach, school counselor, and mom of two. Do you struggle with your relationship with your kids because you carry childhood pain? Do you get triggered by your child's behavior, become irrational, and maybe even yell at your children? Maybe you want to be a better parent, but you don't know how. Instead of repeating old patterns, you want to heal your pain, become more aware of your child's needs, feel connected to your kids and learn the tools to communicate better so you can truly enjoy your parenting. If you are ready to heal your childhood pain, raise healthy, connected, and happy kids, and end the cycle of parenting with pain, then join me. Our kids deserve it, and we can do this. Let's go. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm so excited. I have a special guest. His name is Jesse Sweed. He's an American from Pennsylvania, and he has lived in South Korea and now lives in Spain. He believes that empowered parents raise empowered kids. So he has created frameworks to help parents of young kids to make parenting easy and fun. Welcome, Jesse.
Awesome. I'm so happy to be here and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, thank you. We're both parent coaches. This is so fun. We get to change parents' lives.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think parents struggle with the most?
What do they struggle with the most? Yeah, that's a good question. So I kind of take a different stance. As you said, I lived in South Korea for 7 years. I've lived in Spain for 10 years, and I taught English for most of that time. So language is something that's very important. And I think parents they aren't mindful of the words choice that they use. They aren't mindful of the language they use. So they almost make parenting more difficult on themselves just purely by the word choice that they use. And this comes from like rhetoric that we hear growing up. Things like, I'll give you some examples. Things like parenting is so hard. Parenting is a 24/7 job. Parenting, you never get a rest. Oh, I do everything for my kids. And like, as with everything, there's a grain of truth in those, but really, is that how you want to frame this? Parenting is so hard. When you're saying that, you're making it hard just by expecting it to be hard. We get what we expect, right? So if you say things like it's a 24/7 job, it's not a 24/7 job. I disagree with that because when we're sleeping, like like yeah, we're on call, but we're sleeping. When our kids are in school, like we're not on call essentially, or we're on call always, but we're not at work. When our kids are at a friend's house, we're not at work. So it's a responsibility, but it's those things like that, I think, that parents, we get into those cycles, and I know later we're going to talk about cycles, but vocabulary and the way we use words is a cycle that kind of keeps a lot of parents stuck, I think.
Right, it's probably a lot of things that we heard our parents say,
Yeah,
and we're
yeah.
just
And
we're
every
just
society, TV
yeah,
and all.
yeah, we're just repeating, right? We're just repeating, but our words have so much power. So you and I are both single parents. What do you think what are the struggles of single parents and how can we overcome them?
Yeah. The struggle, I think the biggest struggle for a single parent, and let's separate like of divorce. I'm a single parent, I'm divorced, and that's why I'm a single parent. So it will be a little different than if you lost your partner. Are you from divorce too?
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, I think the most difficult part is the your partner, right? You have, a relationship. You obviously things didn't work out, so things got a little rocky. So managing a respectful co-parenting relationship can be challenging if you're not intentional on if both parties, well, let's pull full responsibility if you're not intentional on making it a healthy co-parenting relationship. So I think the relationship with the other parent is a challenge probably for most and balancing the time. What do you
You
think?
almost, yeah, you have to put your feelings for your ex aside, and you have to put the needs of your children
Hmm.
at the forefront, right?
Yeah, and I
So,
think also not only put your feelings for your exercise, but I think there's a case for like they're not your ex, like they're your ex. Okay, that's the title or whatever. But let's compartmentalize and make a different relationship with them, right? They're my co-parent or they're like I have a great relationship with my ex. We'll use, regular words. But I have a great co-parenting relationship with her. I have a great relationship. We have turned into great friends. We just make a terrible married couple,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But we have a great friendship. And I think and it didn't come without its struggles. It didn't, I mean, we separated, I wasn't there for her in ways that she needed. Someone else was. So, that happened. So it's not like I didn't come here without struggles and without emotional pain and without hitting the lows that happened. But at some point, you've got to cut that history off and say, okay, let's start it over. This is a new relationship. What do I want it to be? It's a co-parenting relationship. What do I want that to look like? And kind of be more intentional with our lives.
right. What I have found, like for me personally, is that I always ask my son what he wants. How do you
Mm.
want it to do? Especially like through the transition, like when the transition of the separation happened, um, he got to decide like how many nights he stays at dad's, how many nights he stays at mom's, if he sees us every day. Like he did the schedule. Now he was
How
older,
old was
right?
he?
He was 12. No,
Okay.
12, 11, yeah, because he's going to be 14. He was 12, and so we gave him that. I don't know. I feel like kids need to have some control. Maybe when they're really little, you can make the decisions of what's best, equal time with each parent, because they do need time with each of their parents.
Yeah.
They do need time. That they come from both of you, right? So unless one parent's abusive, like they should actually have equal time with their parents,
Yeah.
and then having them have some control, asking them I'm a relation parent, so like this is really key for me is getting feedback from your kids. Is it working? Can it be tweaked? What would make things better? Those kinds of questions, and involving our kids, and then just also really, really being mindful not to speak badly about each other. Like Jesse,
Yeah.
you're fortunate that you both are still friends, right? I'm not in that situation. I'm not friends with my ex at all. And I try not to talk to him as much at all because I get a lot of babbling and it's not
Mm.
healthy. So
Yeah.
I do ask my son um, a lot of things, like what would you like? How do you want to approach it? That sort of thing. And that actually does work. It's helped ease a very turbulent relationship, right? With
Mm.
my ex.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So 12, that's an age that I think is fair. Mine were younger. Mine were 5 and 3 or 4 and 6, you know. So
Yes.
it was all new territory for everyone.
Yeah.
So we split it up. We have 50-50 shared custody, 1 week with her, 1 week with me. We live very close together.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So we are very fortunate in that way. And I am grateful often and we also recommend, we also talk to each other about that too. I do want to go back to what you said, like, don't talk bad about the other partner. And like I have a little different slant on this too. Like, you hear it, don't talk bad about your partner with your children. And I would take it a level deeper and say, don't even talk bad about your partner in the shower by yourself. And because ultimately, like what is that doing to the other person? It's not doing anything. It's doing something to me, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
And if we're talking bad about the other person, for one, we shouldn't talk bad about people. But if we talk about the other person to ourselves and we do that on a regular basis, it's gonna come out. And in the case, when we're unaware of it. So it's gonna come out with our kids and we're not aware of it. So that's the worst because you don't even know it's coming out.
Yeah.
So I would say that piggybacking on what you said.
Yeah. I think, like separation divorce is really hard. It's really hard for the parents
Yeah.
and it's hard for the kids. But I know for me, early on, I made a decision not to carry bitterness,
Mm.
um, because it wasn't my choice, right? So not to carry bitterness towards my ex, like
Yeah.
because I got a gift from that relationship, and that's my son.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's awesome. He's the best gift ever. And
Yeah.
so if I focus on the gift from that relationship rather than the unhealthy uh, behavior that went on in that
Yeah.
marriage, then it empowers me. It makes me feel good about it, right?
Yeah.
That it was worth it. It was worth the pain because there was pain, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so that's what I say to parents is just like focus on the gifts of that relationship because those those children of yours are gifts, and maybe that was the reason for uh, the two of you getting together,
Yeah.
right?
And not only that, I would say probably, and you correct me if I'm wrong, some gifts, other gifts that you got as a result of that relationship was the growth that you had to experience and you had to become the person to overcome that and to go through that and like trial by fire. So
Yes,
your own personal development is a gift too.
yes, yes, yes. You can gain strength from tragedy, right? You can
Yeah.
gain strength from that, and you're still a family. Like even though you're not together physically, that you're still a family. You still
Yeah.
have your family, right? It just looks different.
Yeah.
It's not the way that we think about families, but you're still a family, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's got it. That's the messaging for your own children is you're still a family, right?
That's it. We are still that family unit, and like we're a team, you
Yes,
know.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, it
Um,
does. I do want to be sensitive also to some people because some people, they don't have this, fortunate situation. Maybe the father or the mother is out of the picture. They don't want to be. They took themselves out, or they are not supportive, or there are a lot of situations, and that I don't can't relate to, really, to be honest.
honestly, I think there's a lot of single moms without any uh male support.
Yeah.
Like that maybe the father has left them and they're alone with the kids, right? In those situations, that is like super hard. That
Mm.
that is where you have to, my personal opinion is that you have to have a tribe. Like as a single mom, like I actually have my own tribe, right? Even though the dad is in the picture, I need a tribe for me, to
Mm.
help me, to support me, to boost me up. And I think single moms, you need to find a tribe, whether it's
You
your
need
church
to.
group. Like mine started out in my church, honestly. When I was going through a lot of struggle in my marriage, I needed support. And so I reached out to a small group at my church, and they've been with me ever since, like throughout the whole thing.
Mm.
And I'm still friends with them. So you have to find your tribe to give you the support that you need because it's not easy being a single parent, especially like a single mom with all of the like the financial burdens and then um, not really sure how to give your kids what they need because you're struggling.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And that's something that's important to remember too, is, and this is something that single moms, single dads, even many couples, like most people, I think, they forget to put themselves first. And it's easy, I'm sure, to get trapped in the woe is me cycle. Like, oh, and again, I want to be sensitive, but at the same time, you kind of need like a brutal truth that at some point you're staying stuck because you want to stay stuck. Like there are ways, and if you're continually focused on how my life is crap and I have no solution, I have no way out for me, like that kind of thing, you're gonna stay there.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So a
you
lot of it is putting yourself first and not, we need to put ourselves first. And I think many mothers in that situation, they hang their hat on, I do everything for my kids, but really they're depleted themselves.
yes.
So if you're depleting yourself of energy, of love, of care, of self-care, like what do you have left to give to them? You're giving them out of a depleted vessel.
Honestly, I agree with you 100%. I think parents, when you show that you are taking care of yourself, you're modeling for your kids
Yeah,
self-care, right? Like I mean,
absolutely.
honestly, I started this young at a young age with my oldest. When I was tired, I said, "Mommy needs a nap." And I would
Mm,
go and have a nap. And then, sometimes he would be like crawling in bed with me having a nap too. Honestly,
yeah,
my children are have been used to that because they know that I need that. And I tell them like my messaging is your body tells you what you need. If you're
yeah.
tired, you sleep. If you're hungry, you eat. So if you're tired, you can have a nap too. It's funny because my oldest, he naps regularly.
Yeah.
That's I modeled that because that's part of self-care, right? If you need to
It's
go
so
for a
important.
run or whatever you need to do to feel good, that's what you
Yeah.
do. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And don't just do for others, do for yourself. And then out of that love, that overflow, then do for others. But yeah, that's a great point. Like you're setting an example for your kids to put themselves first. And that's in
exactly.
future relationships and friendships, like to not be taken advantage of and be people pleasers and things like that.
Right, right. Because you're better for your kids when you feel good, when you
Yeah.
feel healthy, right?
Yeah.
When you've taken care of yourself, you're going to have the energy and you're not going to feel like you're self-sacrificing. Oh, I do everything. Nobody
Yeah.
helps me.
Because that turns
That
into
whole
resent.
cycle. Yeah,
That can turn into resent real fast.
exactly. Exactly. And I do like what you said about we're not victims in our lives, right? It doesn't matter what the circumstance is. If you have the will, the desire to change it, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you have to have that kind of a mind frame, like with our words, with our thoughts, that's what's going to empower our lives, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be so mindful. I like what you said about how words are so impactful
Yeah.
in parenting and in our lives,
In our
because if
lives.
we are always telling ourselves that we're the victims, oh, what my ex did to me, or um, you know,
Why does she always do that? Why
yeah,
does, you know, and it's like you use the word victim, and one of the frameworks in my intro, one of the frameworks that I teach, I can teach it now if it's okay. It's a story framework. So what I do is I combine story principles with story elements with leadership principles. And I learned this from a business teacher called Donald Miller. He also wrote Blue Like Jazz. And he studies story. And in every story, every mainstream story, there are four basic character types. There is the hero, obviously. He's the character that wants something and that pushes to get that thing.
Right.
There's the guide. He's the one or she's the one with a little more experience, and they create a path for the hero to get that thing. Then there's the villain who prevents the hero from getting that thing, and the victim who the hero they need saving, right?
Yes.
And in any one of our like episodes in a day, like
Yeah.
not even a complete day, something that happens, getting the kids ready for school, going to pick them up from the exes,
Yeah.
whatever, like going to the grocery store, whatever happens in the day, we can be any one of those four characters to our kids or to someone else in another car or whatever, someone in line. We
Mm.
could be the villain, like, what are you doing? You know, we could be the victim. Why does this always happen to me? Why does
Yeah.
she always do this?
Yeah.
Why can't things be better? Why? Those are
Yeah.
victim speak and villain speak. We
Yeah.
could be the guide. How can I help? And we are the guide in our children's hero story. So we're not
Yeah.
the hero in our children's hero story. We're the guide in our children's hero story. And we're the
Right.
hero in our story. So it's like, how can I find this? How can I'm not going to give up. We're going to figure this out, you know, that kind of thing. So the more decisions in the day, and this has helped me a lot when dealing with like we said, with my ex. I remember a specific story. But the more times that we can be the hero or the guide in our language and our mentality, and the fewer times that we can be the villain or the victim, we will have a more fulfilled life. We'll have a bigger impact on our kids. We'll have a happier life.
Yes.
And so this came one time, you know, going to pick up my kids. It was, you know, my ex's time. And then she called me last minute and she needed me to go pick them up or take them to school. This is something that is a recurring thing. You know, it's one of those things. Why does she always do that? Right. And so I'm like walking to her house to pick up the kids, like doing that in my head. She always effing does this. Why does she do this? Like I have my schedule in the day.
Mm.
I had my plan, my day had planned out, and now it's ruined. Like because and I stopped in the middle of the street. I'm walking and I'm like, this is victim speak. Like I'm about to enter a guide role because I'm gonna see my kids, and
Yes.
so I need to enter the guide role. And I like changed flipped a switch, and we had a beautiful walk to school. And guess what? The day was fine. Like I
Yes.
didn't blow
Yes.
up. Like nothing happened. Like you
Yes.
know what I mean? So we can get in our head. So if we can control the character we are in a specific story or in a specific event, we can control a lot that happens in our lives.
100%. I love that. I love that. So you are the hero in your own story,
Yeah.
and you are the guide in your children's lives. I love
Yeah.
it.
Because they're
I
the
love it.
hero.
Because
Yeah.
they're the hero.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so good. That is so good. I think it's really great. It like for me actually it does flip a switch, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Totally.
so I love that. And then I just love that you were aware. You were like, hold on a second. I'm being a victim here. I need
Yeah.
to change that, right?
Yeah.
Before I see my kids.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm about to see them. I'm about to step into a guide role. And this
Yeah,
framework that we're going over, like that's helped me a lot, and it's helped other people that I've helped share that with a lot. So the listeners can take that and use that and change their day, you
that's
know.
so good. That's so
Yeah.
good. Oh, thank you, Jesse. That was amazing. Okay, before we go, can you share where parents can find you?
Yeah. So the I guess the best way is Jesse J Sweet on Facebook. I'm
Okay.
also doing a lot of cool work on my YouTube channel. which is my name too, Jesse Sweed, if you search me. So what I'm doing on my YouTube channel, it's really exciting because I'm taking issues that parents post in Facebook groups,
Yeah.
and I screenshot, I make it anonymous. Even if they post anonymous, I never post any names. Like the name isn't important, right? But like I just give some actionable advice, give some help, give some support based on this issue. And my group is conscious parent leaders. Some of it comes from that, some of it comes from DMs that I receive. So check me out on YouTube.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much, Jesse. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And
Yeah,
maybe I'll have you back another day.
that would be amazing. I'd love that.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you, parents. So I hope that you got some takeaways. I like to do a little takeaway, about being mindful of our words. Jesse was talking about being very mindful of our words, um, how how we can approach things not being the victim, but feeling empowered.
Mm,
And being empowered helps our kids. That's really, really huge. Um,
yeah,
and then and then just changing our identity to being the hero in our own story and to being the guide in our children's lives.
yeah,
Is that
huge.
good, Jesse?
That's huge. I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much, parents. We will see you next time. Bye for
All right.
now.
Thank you, Ann.
If this podcast inspired, blessed, or changed you in any way, I would love for you to share this with your family and friends on your Instagram page and tag me at Masterful Parenting. And join my Masterful Parenting Facebook page or DM me for more parenting support. And I will meet you here real soon. Remember, be relational with your kids and you will see a change. Love to all you parents out there. Let's change the world one parent at a time.